Hi, everyone. This is Vicente Cruz, Oakland Green's event and fundraising coordinator. And thank you very much for our viewers on YouTube and Instagram and around the world and all that. Welcome to our meeting, which I should be broadcasting now. We will start out with our agenda review. This is the monthly public meeting, business meeting of the Oakland Greens, our small political club. And today we have no intros will be needed because it's just the irregular cast. OUSD election, open congressional seat election, outreach opportunities at Exotica in Chicago next month. Oops, excuse me. The virtual event 2023, February and March report back. Also mentioning the interview from that on KPFA. Movie nights. Report back from January and then also from February. Movie Nights 2024 starts out with a couple of suggestions that we'll go over. Then also we have the 2024 also virtual town hall series. Again, when discussing that too, where I'm going to really try to find us a space to do all of those in person, everything back in person, but doing a hybrid version. So I have suggestions for that already. Treasury report, social media outreach and announcements. Thank you very much, Greg, for the email for the congressional seat link. Is there anything that I should add onto the agenda? Seeing none. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put yourself on the agenda for kudos for a great job you did.
Pats on the back. Yes, indeed. I do that often. And well deserved. Thank you very much, Orlando. That's nice. Always nice. You always do. You always do. So the first thing on the agenda is the OUSD election, and I didn't make it, but did anyone make it to the re-swearing in of Michael Hutchinson? Was they recertified the election? No, but Mike
did it. Yeah.
Mike is definitely our one too. And then my biggest thing on that, and then of course then the floor goes open, is I still would like to apply for Michael's old position for the last year, to be on the school board and trying to navigate and find out what that process is going to be now that it is official from last Friday. And does anybody have any thoughts on the recertification, the length of it, that it had to go back to court, anything at all?
Well,
yes, Greg, please.
I mean, if the registrar hadn't made that mistake, there wouldn't have been all this hullabaloo. But because they made the mistake, then all these people that don't like ranked choice voting come out of the woodwork and they make a big stink, and they got the board of supervisors to pass these resolutions and blah blah. So it was all a big hullabaloo. But anyway, I think the registrar is doing a good job because they stuck to the facts and didn't take the political bait that was out there. But in terms of applying, I think that there's probably a deadline coming up relatively soon. So I think you should contact the Board of Education maybe to find out the process and the deadline.
Do that on Monday. Well, and then there's the other part too, where I guess in keeping with the flavor of the country, not so much the Bay Area, but the country, they could have tried to cover it up. They could have said that they didn't want to, even if they wouldn't have got away with it, they could have tried.
They would have, except that it wasn't the registrar that initially found out about the error. It was one of these. There was a what do you call it? A good government group, one that focuses on ranked choice voting, that discovered the error and notified the registrar. So that it's like a nonprofit. So that nonprofit would have called them out.
That checks certifications. Yes.
Yeah. So the registrar didn't have any choice because they knew that if they swept it under the rug, this nonprofit would go to the press. So they had to go deal it.
Right. Yes. And again, it's like a backup plan, an independent backup plan for it. So, anything else? I will call them on Monday and we'll find out how they're going to do that. Anything else on OUSD? Yes, please, Dale. Unmute yourself, but yes, Dale, please.
Yes, Vicente, tell me, has the school board decided whether they're going to appoint somebody or are they going to hold a brand new election?
They are going to appoint someone.
Okay.
It's going to be an appointment. If for no other reason, it would just be way too expensive with an election coming up the year after, I mean, it would be with, 2 more years, we're having elections anyway. So yes, they will appoint someone, the board will appoint someone. I don't know how, I don't even know if Mike would be an ally to appoint me, right? I mean, Mike and I definitely are respectful for each other, but I'm way more radical than Mike is,
Well, so are 3 of the other OUSD members, because when they voted on this budget thing, Mike, I think Mike actually sponsored the budget proposal that would eliminate some schools. And, I was kind of shocked, but.
Really? Wow, that's because his whole campaign was around no school closures, right?
Well, apparently he went through the budget numbers or something and decided they had to consolidate some schools. So the 3 newly elected two new and 1 previous, the other radical school board members that we, supported, they all voted it down. So they weren't able to pass this budget that would have got rid of some schools. Wow. And well, I should take it back. And also the OEA was against it too. So, between the OEA and the progressive other board members questioning the whole thing, that Mike ended up on the wrong side this time.
Wow. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, Dale.
But did the right side come up with any proposal for their?
Oh, they have a
budget?
wonderful long response. And it's published in the Oakland Post. I think the most recent issue of the Oakland Post, they have a 10-paragraph letter that explains that there was no need to do this, that there's plenty of surplus money, that the timing of the budget and when things take place. So it's all explained in their letter. Yeah, I think Mike really wasn't doing his homework, because this letter seems to explain that there was absolutely no need for this. Hopefully that letter's on the Oakland Post website, because I saw a hard copy, but then I missed it. I think I know where my hard copy is, but it's not with me right now. So.
Well, will that letter pass muster with the Alameda County Board of Supervisors that apparently is going to take over control if the Oakland Unified School District can't show that it's going to be able to have the money to cover the expenses in the next 2 years?
I hope that the progressive board members did their homework, and I hope that the stuff in their letter is all factual and that it'll work out. I mean, I'm in no independent position to judge it, but just the letter read very well. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Orlando, please.
Yeah, I think if we have a conversation with Mike, I think we can see what's in the teeth of it and what's the purpose behind it. And I think that can help us exercise. But I think as far as Vicente, I think Mike won't have no problem with supporting you. I mean, shit, he broke history, so why you can't? Anything possible.
Oh, for sure. And I definitely wouldn't, because
anything's possible.
And I think the Open Greens fall under the same genre. I don't care if there's only one person in the damn school. Every neighborhood should have a school. Every kid should be able to walk, especially in elementary to middle school, should be able to walk to school. And that means a safe neighborhood, whether that means we escort the kids, whatever, especially because, I mean, none of us are blind to the economic effects of poverty and shit that go on in a lot of our neighborhoods, right? So whatever it would take, I don't care if there was 3 kids in the goddamn school, if that's what it takes for that whole neighborhood, if there ain't no other kid, which I find that hard to believe, but every neighbor should have a school where kids could walk to, especially elementary, middle school, even preschool, where parents could be able to drop their kids off, walk with their kids in the morning before they go to work and have those things. So I would be against closing any school. And if someone wants to tell me about the money, don't you fucking tell me about the money, because the debate I'm going to have you, I'm going to beat that dead Klansman until it's like a total puree, is that we're giving all this money to Ukraine. We're giving all this money for all these other things. The Pentagon budget is fucking huge. You could cut off 1 fucking %, all the fucking shit, like the easiest fucking solutions. And then the bigger one, as far as funding, and then the bigger one is actually coming up with new education systems that actually benefit everyone and not just the few. But don't, anytime, and we've said this over and again, beating the dead Klansman, don't tell me the money's not there. There's tons and tons of money. You ain't got to raise nobody's taxes. And even if you wanted to make the argument that, okay, well, all of the money that's there now is everywhere it needs to be. Okay, well then guess what? Bill Gates, you're taking a fucking 1% pay cut. You're not even going to lose any fuel in your plane. What the fuck, right? It makes no fucking sense, which then goes back to, again, even deeper down the road, that it's not about money or equality for it's about control. They want to control us. They don't want to realize that, in fact, everyone can govern themselves. If you gave every community, like a community democracy project wants to do, if you give them the money in their community, you know, they probably have really good streets because they would put the fucking money into fixing that. They'd have good schools because their kids are going to the schools. Even if I don't have kids, it benefits. Fuck, the rant's going. They must have put something in the tea. And, you know, anyway, so all of those different things. So I will find out, because I would love to be able to say this in a school board meeting, as I did when I was on Measure Y and all these different things, you know, and I don't know, again, our whole goal is to try to motivate people. It's like, I understand the rat race. You don't got to tell me. I pay rent. I know, right? But what's the alternative? What's the fucking alternative? Is that what it is? Realizing that too. If we all just woke up tomorrow and decided something, might it be done? Mayday strikes and all that shit. Fuck, if they decided fucking all the people that go to Starbucks just fucking one on Mayday decide not to go to Starbucks in one day, I think that sent a huge fucking message, because they lose billions of fucking dollars, and that's where it hits them, right? Well, let's pacify them enough so we can keep our lifestyle. And I would give it to
Europe. Europe is on strike.
Yes, no, I tell you what I was saying before. France knows how to protest. They want to raise the fucking retirement age 2 years. Them motherfuckers is burning fucking all that shit. You know, they're fucking rocking, right? You know, it's like that just for 2 years, right? But they have a longer history of actual active anarchist rebellions and revolutions for socialized, you know, programs with their tax dollars that they pay so high. Right, they have a long. We don't really have that. Yes, Dale, please.
Well, we agree with you, but basically and realistically, if everything you said was written into, you know, a budget proposal that went before the Board of Supervisors, the County Board of Supervisors, 1% of the defense budget is going to be, they'd reject you, reject it totally. Yeah, no chance.
Yes. Right. But that's because, again, we are both parties, the 2 major parties, which goes back to Green Party. The 2 major parties, Republican and Democrats, are all in the same pockets of the same donors, right? That this is how we get elected. And no one is like, well, once I get elected, you know, I don't give a fuck. You gave me all that money. Guess what? I'm not doing what you're bidding. I'm going to do what's right for everyone. All my actual constituents, not the fucking people who funded my campaign, the people who actually voted for me. So yeah, I mean, that's the fucking catch-22, right? Well, you know, if you go out and try to be an activist and put this budget proposal up there, you know, you're crazy. Oh, I'm crazy. Does that mean I get like totally healthcare and taken care of? So I was like, no, because you know that you don't get it. You still got to go in there and try to put that budget proposal in. Looking to free t-shirt for anybody who catches that reference on the YouTube and Instagram. Oh, goodness. That actually turned out really good. Anything else on the OUSD election or education?
Just a quick question.
Yes, of
Tell
course.
me now, how many females are on the Oakland Unified School District Board?
Only 2 at the moment, right? Because Shanti left, right? Shanti's not on it anymore. I can look it up too.
If there are only 2, then isn't there going to be a great deal of pressure to appoint a female?
I won't make that joke from my past and all that, but yes, of course there would be. You know, I only check a couple of the boxes. You know, but we'll see. You know, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who's louder and more direct and in your face than I am. Though I don't care if you're a woman, LGBT plus or whatever. I have rarely found anyone, right, that's screaming as loud as me. All right, I can always go louder. So, and that's what I think is what I have to offer. And also the fact that, oh, well, when I was even on Measure Y, I like go out and talk to, again, the constituents, the people who actually like have to vote. And what are your concerns? Like, I'm not going to go in there and just put what I think is right. I was like, oh, I have tons and tons of ideas, but I am supposed to represent you. That's what it's supposed to be. So I need to hear what you have to say, and I'll actually come out and ask you, right? I'll go out to the corner, like, y'all have kids, y'all have any theories on education? What should I be fucking talking about along with what I want to talk? And then hopefully that might translate into someone else running and, you know, having the same loud voice. We hope. I hope. I wish. Excuse me, still anything else on the OUSD election? They disguised that burp well. I'm seeing none. So the next thing on the agenda is the open congressional seat. All the people I contacted did not, you know, get back to me. I mean, I wasn't actually surprised because some of them had actually told me no before. But I actually thought I'd hear back from Angela Davis's people, but apparently she's not going to do that. Along with that, Greg had sent me all of the, actually I didn't need to go there.
Yeah, there's just 3 names. Why don't I just read it?
Sure.
Okay, so there's this website, East Bay Insiders, that has a list of people, quote, showing interest in the Barbara Lee congressional seat, now that Barbara Lee is running for U.S. Senate. And the 3 are Tony Desog, Alameda council member, City of Alameda council member, Latifah Simon, BART board director, and possibly Lauren Taylor, the former Oakland city council member that ran for mayor. And Latifah Simon has already declared that she's running and has a committee, and she's sent out a fundraising letter, and she's already raised like $120,000. And she's got all these endorsements from elected officials too. So it looks like Latifah Simon on the BART board is way in front of any other potential person. And we did endorse her when she ran for BART. Was that 3 years ago, 2020? So, you know, she's probably not going to be that bad. And she might even be potentially a little better than Barbara Lee, because we had a lot of problems with some of Barbara Lee's, especially when she voted for the war budget and took money from Lockheed and other big corporations. And I should also mention that it also has the list of the state Senate, because in this area, Nancy Skinner is termed out, and so there are 4 people currently running for state Senate. There's Catherine Leibarger with the ASME president, Dan Kalb, Oakland City Council member, Jesse Aragon, Berkeley mayor, and Jovanka Beckles, AC Transit Board, whom we've endorsed for both AC Transit and supported her before that for when she ran for state legislature. So those are the open seats, and you know, we'll have other local elections coming up later on. We'll find out if it's all incumbents over any other open seats. But This is what we know right now for open seats.
Another thing we're really gonna have to do is this summer try to do more outreach and look for candidates of our own to run on the Green Party ticket. Running to win. Too. If anyone wondered, I actually put the link to that website in the chat. And you can get to the chat if you scroll over all of our faces. Either comes up at the bottom or on the side, and you click the little chat box, and it will show up on the right-hand side of the screen with all of the typed in text inside of it. Anything else on the open congressional seat? Seeing none. The next on the agenda is an outreach opportunity. So along with, and this is mostly for our viewers, along with a commitment to have women's issues being completely at the front of any discussions and agenda on social justice that we have. We also did a lot of work around sex work. We did a virtual town hall last year on Sesta Fosta and the disaster that was supposed to be this anti-trafficking law, all this stuff. Well, it comes out that in October, I will be at an expo, a convention, workers, and I have an opportunity to apply to give a seminar. And what we would have to decide is if I would go as the Oakland Greens and give a seminar. And what I have is labor rights. These are different topics: labor rights, Sesta Fosta, and then specifically why in certain circles of non-monogamy they use consensual ethical non-monogamy versus poly. Under labor rights, the bullet points I would go deep dive into would be healthcare, living wages, client abuse, a criminalization versus legalization, and along with client abuse and the decrim versus legalization, false laws and effectiveness under Sesta Fosta. I haven't done any bullet points for the economic, because especially under Oakland Greens, I think the first two topics kind of really are still in a more political realm and social justice realm, whereas the reason in some of the more radical circles of non-monogamy, they use that versus poly and the racism and hetero one penis policies and things like that that go along with it are more of just a community issue as opposed to a larger social justice issue. Yeah, any questions, ideas? Thought, oh, and I guess another part of it too is, so I've already covered cost. When I apply, I'm hoping that, but I'm thinking that it's not, that it may be a fee if I'm going to want a TV and a microphone as well, even though I imagine the first ones, not knowing who I am, would still be small. I would still want that, and I would record it, and I'd want to make sure I have all that information as well. And if that has to be, if it was in an under $500 range, I would ask the Oakland Greens to cover that fee. Everything else I'm covering on my own. Any questions? There has to be questions.
It's actually
Oh, it's in April. Sorry.
What's the dates again?
April 21st through the 23rd. So if we approve at least me going under the Oakland Greens label and giving a talk on any of those, which we've already done, like I said, we've done the Sesta Fosta, and I have like information on that as well. I would just apply for it and see. Actually, I'll probably email. I'm going to email after this and them after this and find out if there is a basic kind of AV package that comes from them even putting on the convention. But I have information and that I could use to do a PowerPoint presentation along with the talk. And and it would be hopefully expanding for the website, virtual events, things like that. I'd take the t-shirts with me.
And literature, we should have plenty of literature. People
Oh
want.
yeah, yes, I have all that.
Where is it being held?
Chicago Convention Center. It's actually, I am 90% sure it's the exact same place that I did National Association of Stock Planner Professionals.
Okay, well then I would suggest that we actually also get some national party literature, because I suspect that lots of people are not going to be from California, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so for them, if they actually want to connect with the Greens, they should connect with the National Green Party to find out about local connections in their states.
I would put in for, as far as we're discussing whether or not it's going to get approved or not, that we still specifically stay Oakland, because they can get links through our website, and that just feeds traffic to us as far as the algorithm game.
Yeah, if it's clear how to get to the national website.
Yes. Yep. If you've never been to the website, you should. You should go to the Oakland Green.
Well, I've been there, but not lately.
Right. But actually, Greg, you're good at that, because you're the one that catches me on the Eventbrite stuff as well. So yes, please, you definitely go. And that would be actually for anyone too. Please go, because I do, doing it on my own, one set of eyes, check and see if there's anything, oh, this isn't streamlined enough, or I couldn't get to the donations tab. That's a big one as I navigate the corrupt capitalist system. Shout out to that. Yes, but anyway, but that would be, again, my is like, still, let's try to steer them to the oaklandgreens.org, and then they can get those links too. And again, because I still have to apply and get all this information, if you, in the next 3 days, Greg, looked and see if it was easy to get to the national site from there, let me know. If not, I can fix it. And, oh, you're muted still, sorry.
I'll do it before April, before it starts.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. Easy to fix. Any other questions, concerns? Think that wouldn't be loud enough? Well, okay, if everyone still is cool, so do you think, would you prefer the legislative side, so like Sesta Fosta, or just kind of more local and the stuff we do around unionization, talking to people about healthcare? Actually, I almost want to combine them too, because when you talk about client abuse, the reason that there's such a huge uptake right now is directly because of Sesta Fosta law. And they're about to put up this other law that I just was looking, as I was just randomly doing more research, trying to get more up-to-date stuff on it. They're RU 203 or 230. There's a new one, like I just looked at it, that they're even trying to double down on Sesta Fosta, that has done nothing. And I know it for a fact that it does nothing, because I'm in an issue now where trying to directly stop being able to broadcast child pornography. And like, oh, so anyway, I don't want to get into that one. But maybe it does become just one big topic. That it does. I mean, I could in the application, I can tell them it's 2 hours long. I was thinking an hour and a half. Oh, and I also want to do it as a format where it would actually only be 15 minutes on like my resume, Oakland Green's resume, 15 minutes on why I think it's bad, but I want it to be just like we did with Road, that it's a discussion. I mean, if you let me, I'll just keep on talking if you let me, but I really don't. Like, I want to step back and I want to hear from, you all talk to us. You have any just questions, let's have a discussion about this and how to create solutions around this that makes everybody safe, and that consenting adults can do whatever the fuck they want, especially if it's not affecting anyone else and it's consenting between two adults. So. Sounds like capitalism?
No, it's on the capitalism.
Oh, yes, yes. That definitely falls, well, yeah, kind of always. Anything else? Everyone's cool? All right, see you then, easy peasy. Let's see, our next agenda is the virtual events report back for February and March, which we didn't record February. It was just 3 of us, but in pure, why I look at all of our events as if they're just shows like I do them for a living. It was an amazing talk. We came up with things, but didn't you think so, Greg? Right? Am I wrong?
The guy who showed up, what was it, from Indiana or somewhere? It was quite a trip, yeah, because he had this idea. He was fed up with the Democrats, the 2 major parties, I should say, and was looking around, and he discovered the Greens, and gave us compliments, and then he said, but you guys need to have a much better publicity program. You need to have a much better way to get out your message, and he wanted us to I forget exactly how he phrased it.
He wanted us to make, I joke, a contract with America. He
That
wants
was
to
it,
make
yeah.
political candidates an official LLC,
Yeah,
so that if they do not follow through with what they say they are going to do, they can actually be held legally accountable and financially accountable
yeah, right.
for not following through, which I thought was out of the box and an interesting. I thought it was interesting to bring up. And at this point too, I'm almost like throw it at the wall, see what sticks type stuff, because we've been trying this, let's just tweak the political system just a little bit. Let's do this. And it's obviously not working, right? More and more tent cities, more and more families. I'm not talking about people with mental health issues, fucking people with PTSD, any of that stuff too. Just regular, normal families who are living in their vans or living in fucking tiny houses, right? Working 3-4 jobs and still can't pay rents and stuff. So it's just getting worse. So the same old has been unfucked a long time ago. And we need brand new systems. We need to start thinking out. So I thought it was very, very interesting. And for having such a small group, just the 3 of it, we talked for a while. He didn't want to be recorded, which I respected that. But yes, it was incredible. Does anyone have questions about the February one too? Seeing none. The March one was good too, but I did record it because we need the content. We had one person who I did not recognize who just stayed and whispered questions and stuff to me, which was perfectly fine. Like the chat doesn't show up in the video, but I still think that every time I think it might not be great, it ends up being really, really good. And I'm glad. As far as better, from what the gentleman said in February, that's why I do and why I advertise it as the most diverse music in the social justice movement. I'm riding that wave all the way and seeing if we can get more younger people in just to see, well, what the hell is he talking about as far as music wise in the pre-show. So yeah, March was really, really good. I like it. Along with that one too, from the February one, I don't know if everyone got a chance to listen to it. Laura and I were interviewed for the weekend evening news in KPFA. I wish next time, because I'm sure it'll happen again, I'm going to ask if I can record myself, because I still didn't get the raw recording of it, and there was so much more that was said. I would love for us to be able to have it, even if it's I have to use on the phone, just recording my answers to questions. And then being able to edit and put that up on content, because those interviews come out with some really, really good rants. They really, really do. And some funny and some fun stuff too. And yeah, it's all stuff that we need, again, for better publicity. Anything else? That was the report backs for virtual events. Seeing none. The next one is movie night report back. January, everyone seemed to like it. We had problems with the first connection. The first movie night, the second one went well. Both movies got real good reviews. I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything about that. And I guess, and still, I'm batting like 100% that every movie that I've picked that we've gotten approved of, no one had ever seen before. So that's, I like that. I'm digging that a lot. Everyone knows what our next movie is, right?
No.
Oh, the next movie will be Hysteria, and those are the last Sunday of every month, January through October. Hysteria is a movie about the so-called medical condition that's supposedly afflicted women of hysteria, and what came out of that was the vibrator. About the invention of the vibrator, and it is a fun movie. It is a kind of a comedy as well. It has a lot of funny bits in it, but it's also a really good movie. And next one, whoops. Over here. So when the next agenda item is movie nights for 2024, and went ahead, I just had, I kind of go with the manic energy, and when I have the energy, I start writing it down. And so we're actually getting into it way early. But so far I have suggestions of The Sausage Party, The Whale, You People, and Idiocracy so far. Is there any movies you can think of at this moment, and you don't have to, right? We got plenty of time, that I should be looking into? And I'm always trying to find subtitled movies as well. Yes, Orlando, please.
I think that movie that you showed, I think a few years ago, about your uncle.
Oh, Let It Burn.
Yes.
Revisit that one.
Yes, that's powerful.
And that's from the Move bombing, if anyone doesn't remember. And then this movie is about the prosecution of the two. Well, why not? It's our 4th year, or it'll be our 5th year, actually. Go back to one of the movies from the first, well, actually it was not just the first movie we did, Let It Burn. Any objections? Put that on there. Let It Burn. And clarify too, my uncle was the lead prosecutor of police misconduct. The movie is not about him. It is about the whole Move bombing itself. Which even how we got that, which I will save for next year. Any other thoughts for movies for next year? Seeing none at the moment. And now we're doing virtual town halls for 2024. Excuse me, did not discard that one. Did not disguise that one very well. So some of the, and again, these are just topics, like it wouldn't be the actual working titles or anything, but immigration, social media, police oversight, Isreal, sports, politics, and social responsibility, our linguistics, education, and alternative political parties, of course, communication within relationship, reparations, nonprofit industrial complex, sex and sexuality, birth and population. So far. Any hard, oh my God, no, not that? All right.
I trust you, Vicente.
Okay. Okay, if that's the case, I will come up with an actual month by month and have that for next month for people to see and approve. Oh, and I do see one more movie night, Orphan Train. Actually, maybe I want to add Rabbit Proof Fence. If anyone's heard about that one. It is about Australia in I want to say the 50s, when they were really segregating off all the Aboriginals, and they built this fence across the whole country. And they were putting the Aboriginal kids in referendum camps, like they did the indigenous people here, and we're teaching them to be Christian and taking away their culture and all this stuff. But this 2 sisters walked pretty much across all of I think Western Australia to get back to their village and their mother. And it caused it was like one of the anti-apartheid movements, because it took the government years and years to try to find these kids, and they never did. But that's another one too. And you know what I can do as well is let me put this on here. I can next month have trailers. I'll send trailers out and I'll commit to doing it like I did this time, send the agenda and links out even the week before, not just the day before, so people have time to look at all of the trailers and see if they like that rabbit proof fence. I like that movie. That's okay, and save. Anything else on movie nights? Seeing none. Our next agenda item, the Treasury report. I have received the new credit union business debit card. Did everyone get a chance to look at the balances that I had sent attached? One. If not, I can read them again. No? Dale, thumbs up, anyone? No? Okay, so hold on a second. I will there we go. Oh, I timed out. I got to re-log in. Sorry. Well, I can tell you while it's doing that. So in the Bank of the West account, it is $325.69. The Oakland Greens business checking at the credit union is $1,200 in the checking, and the business savings is $195. Those are available balances. And then our last one, our PayPal account has $184 in it. So, and I am trying, I really do want to have, my goal is I want to have to pay an accountant. So, which means we need to make $6,000 this year, over 5, but I'd like to make 6 to make it worth it. So that way it pays the accountant itself. And yeah, and I think also going back to in-person would help that a lot. And getting actually out like farmers markets and doing those things, which we will discuss in spring in a couple months. And that's Treasury. Any questions about Treasury report? Even though a couple of people didn't look at it, are you still liking it that I add the attachments to it? I actually save them as PDF files and email them out.
It was perfect. I seen it through the email, so it was perfect.
Yeah, it worked fine for me. It's
Okay,
fine.
cool. I'll continue, definitely do that. The next one, social media. I think, pretty much the same. Social media is definitely, banging. Instagram still is global with a couple of other Green parties around the globe. Definitely Instagram is more worldwide as far as I think the YouTube channel. It doesn't tell me where the people live, but they're more local. But when I say that, I mean as far as like engagement, where they're liking videos and reels and posts that we're doing on Instagram, and where there's actual engagement. Same thing. Facebook still grows, and people are there's no comments. There's not as much engagement on Facebook, but people are seeing the posts and they're going to YouTube. And I see Orlando's hand. Yes, please.
Yeah, what I like about it is that your interaction don't have a time limit. It's 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, Vicente on. It's dialogue, it's communication with a lot of different people than the norm. So keep it up, the good work, Vicente, because it brings out a broader, and Vicente have real conversations. And it's hard to have conversations like that on social media. So he have his moderator, Vicente be right there, he hammering it. So just sending your kudos on that too, Vicente.
Yeah, thank you. And I do, in the event production, my schedule is all over the place, which works a lot because like Orlando says, 1 o'clock in the morning here is, in England, it's the next day or the morning of that day. So I'm able to participate and not just there, Unicorn Riot, I definitely go in and comment on their lives, especially there's, Cop City is really, really jumping off. Now, if you talk about something that's homegrown, where there's some actual like confrontation where they're really defending themselves against police brutality and trying to stop this, especially after that young activist got shot. And so, yeah, so I really do try and engage and be on that. And I do it on the Oakland Greens account too. So if when they follow me, which we do get follows on Instagram, there's a link to our website, which then goes to Facebook and YouTube and everything else.
Not only shot, but killed.
Oh, yeah, yes, he was killed. They were killed, sorry. Yes, that young activist was murdered by police. And then retaliation in defense of themselves, right? They went up and burned down their surveillance station.
And then the police came back with their retaliation, which is that they had a festival, a music festival, and they came in and charged 20, I think they arrested 23 people at the music festival and charged them with terrorism.
Where was this?
Atlanta,
Georgia.
Yeah.
They're trying to do what I get. Didn't they want to do that here in Oakland too? Have some
Well,
army
this
base or
one
some
is
shit?
enormous. This is going to be like the biggest cop training center in the whole country.
And it's an urban training center, meaning so that they can roll through the fucking Fruitvale and Dogtown and Jingletown and have the best effective way of how to fucking round people up or kill them or whatever. You know, it's bad. It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
That is social media and actually kind of outreach. The only other thing I would say on outreach is like, I'm always wearing my green shirts out. And I think in the next 2 months, I will put on the agenda, we talk about getting back out, into the light, into real life events. And then last, was there any announcements?
I'll make one, which is a few minutes ago, I found that Oakland Post article from the 3 school board members defending why they voted against Mike's budget. So I just emailed you the link to the letter that they printed.
Thank you. I'll put that on the website and all that. Yeah. That's the only other announcement is go to oaklandgreens.org and go to our donation page. We're an all volunteer organization. You saw here in the request, the money would only go to funding outreach trips, but not payment to any of the Oakland Greens group. We do use funds when we do our major fundraisings. If we have big name presenters, we do want to compensate them because we believe in living wages for all and compensation for their time, especially for those radical voices who are talking about solutions. We know what the problems are. We don't need to hear that. We want to talk about solutions. Once again, I'm Vicente Cruz, Oakland Greens Event and Fundraising Coordinator, and this has been our March public monthly business meeting. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see everybody at movie night. Bye.
Actually, hold it.
Sorry.
One
That
quick
great
thing.
exit. Go ahead, please.
Well, you can edit it, right? You can edit it. I just remembered that what do we have yesterday? The town hall. Yeah. I have a book group which is now meeting on Saturday starting from 5 o'clock, and they go to 6:30. So if we keep the start time at 6:15 and 6:30, then I'm always going to be 15 minutes late. Whatever.
That's fine. Yeah, and I got the email from you before, so that's awesome, and thank you for letting us know. Anything else? I move to adjourn.
Do your introduction again.
Oh, you want me to do it again? Okay, we'll do it again. And once again, I am Vicente Cruz, Oakland Greens Event and Fundraising Coordinator, and you've been watching the Oakland Greens public monthly business meeting. And thank you very much, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace, everybody. Bye.